Hello students, welcome back to the session on plant layout. In previous sessions we discussed with respect to the concerns or the information as such, objectives, importance and principles of plant layout. So in this session, let's see what are the factors which influence plant layout. See, as such, we have there were multiple, and we also study plant location as well. So in that also we have there were the factors which influence in terms of selection of location. The same way as when we design or when we set up a plant in the selected location, there are certain factors which influence the design of plant layout. Let's see. The first one is materials. So how materials, we all know materials include the raw materials involved in the production process. So materials has a great influence on the design of plant layout. So what is the materials we have in terms of like how it impacts is the movement of raw materials in plant until they are converted into finished products. So every factory should buy materials economically where they are available. They should be stored properly and moved through production centers efficiently. Materials require properly placed storage rooms and material movements or handling equipment. So these initial investments are recurring costs. So it is quite important, like this is how, see, with respect to the movement of materials during the process and or prior to the process of production. So how we are going to procure the materials and how we are going to make or how we are going to design the movement of materials in a production process, or how we are going to store the materials is all depends on the plant layout. So this is how the materials will have an impact in terms of plant designing or plant layout designing. Next, moving product. So product is very important, and another very important factor with respect to the product layout. So first we need to have a decision with respect to the product, that what we are going to produce. So there are certain products, so it depends on the size. Yes, the size, whether it is big or small. As such, an example, if we are into a manufacturing company which produces ships or say an aeroplane, so such huge products, how we are going to produce. So that's, we have to set up a layout which suits our product, suits our product, the way we produce them. So that's how the movement of such products or the production of such products has an impact on the plant layout. So therefore, it's an essential that the plant layout should be planned after being in the mind that the particular handling or a movement equipment which may be required in the manufacturing process. So that's, depends upon the product we design, and we purchase equipment and we establish or we install those machineries into our plant layout. So depending upon such elements, the plant layout has to be designed. So it's very essential, the plant layout should be planned after bearing in the mind the particular handling or moving of equipments in a manufacturing process. So next is men. Men are workers or workforce involved in the production process. So what is the skill set is required in terms of, again this workforce or say men or the employees, how they impact us, again it depends on the product or the industry we are in. So what is the product we are producing depends on that. The skill sets and the knowledge of the employees are decided. So it's based on what kind of skill set employees we have, or we need in terms of production. So the layout designer should also consider the type and the position and the requirements of employees. So Yes. So what kind of employees we need, and what we can give the better in terms of employees is also another consideration before we plan a layout. Okay. See, how it is, see if it is what kind of product we are producing. Based on that, we recruit the workforce. So once we have the workforce in a layout, how you are going to facilitate their presence during the production process, considering their safety, health, and other aspects as such, the feeding and the locker rooms and lavatories, and this all the basic amenities which are required in terms of survival of a human being. Okay, moving ahead. So the plant designer has to keep all these elements with respect to the employees. So during their presence in the manufacturing unit, so how we are going to facilitate their presence? So by the, like, we can say the facilities in terms of how you are going to make sure they're comfortable during the work hours. So by providing the basic amenities like a pantry, lavatories, and the air conditioned facility, and so which makes them comfortable staying or working in our manufacturing unit. So machinery. So this the machinery would depend on the product and the volume of production. So the type of process and management policies determines the size and the type of machinery to be involved, which in turn influences the plant layout. So that's why the type of product, the volume, and the process, and the management policies. So these all have a direct impact on the acquisition of machineries. So production is a combination of and the manipulation of men, material, and machineries. So these elements may be combined in various ratios and in various ways in the course of production activity. So the machinery is also having a great impact in terms of designing the plant. So depending upon the size and the volume they are in production. Okay, so before we plan up with respect to the plant layout, we need to know what kind of machineries we are going to establish, or what is the size and what is the technology we are going to adopt in terms of establishment of machineries in our. Okay, let's see. The next is type of industry. So again, the type of industry depends on the plant layout. So what is the industry we are into, whether it is manufacturing, service, or if it is a manufacturing, what kind of manufacturing products we are into. So all these elements would have an impact in terms of the plant layout. So if it is a manufacturing industry, and there would be another classification in terms of industries are synthetic industry, analytical industry, and conditioning industry, and extractive. So wherein extractive industries involved the separation of one element from another, as in case of metal from the ore. A conditioning industry involves a change in form or physical properties. So metal working industries, foundries, and leather tanning concerns condition the raw materials have the end product. If it is an analytical industry, raw materials into various elements or constituted parts. An oil refinery, for example, yields naphtha, gasoline, and all this stuff. Okay, so if it is a synthetic industry, the assembling industry, it is also called assembling industry, involves the production of a product by the use of various elements. So we have different types of industry. So first we need to decide upon the type of industry we are into, and then that would have an impact in terms of designing the plant layout. So moving next is the location. So as we all have discussed in part of the plant location, it has a great impact on design as well, because so design has impact in terms of plant layout, has impact in terms of location is in terms of the acquisition of raw materials, converting them, and acquisition of machineries, placing the machineries, and the another element is transportation cost with respect to the acquiring the raw materials and the fuel requirements. So all these elements will contribute in terms of location. Okay, so see the size of location, because size of the location is very important. So but depending upon the size and depending upon the decisions and the machineries type of industry, so all these elements would decide on the location. So ultimately, as a location for any plant layout would have an impact in terms of size and the transportation cost with respect to raw materials. Moving ahead, let's see. We have managerial policies. So management policies significantly influence on plant layout, such as on the volume of production and the provision of expansion of the manufacturing units, the extent of automation being done at or manufacturing units, making or buying particular components of production, uh, desire for rapid delivery of goods to customers, purchasing policies, personal policies, and so on. So we have a number of policies drives our manufacturing units. So those all have an impact on plant layout. So this was all about factors influencing plant layout.